Welcome to Something Crunchy. Tyler is homies with Blake. Blake is the older bro of Blair. Blair is married to Tyler, and is a slutty slut.
Welcome to Something Crunchy.
What the hell is crunchy?
Welcome to Something Crunchy.
All right, back in the studio with T. Ranchula and American Blair Wolf in London. Let's put them on. All right, how we feeling tonight?
Great.
I'm 5 beers deep, full tilt bananas.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, you guys are in for something special.
Y'all, it is almost Halloween.
I'm excited for the ween. Tyler, just between us girls, you have any crazy Halloween stories?
I think I did pretty good in my life to keep myself out of harm's way, but definitely some times that as a child, I could have gotten myself into some stuff, but good Lord willing, got myself out of that. But 7-year-old Tyler was a cute little blonde-haired, blue-eyed American boy, and that's when I decided to strike out on my own, go and get my own candy.
Well, you were kind of entrusted to raise yourself in a sense.
It
and
was
you were,
the 80s.
You were very
different time.
self-reliant.
Definitely
you were
wouldn't,
very independent.
Wouldn't fly these days, but I was out there all by myself trick-or-treating.
I bet you you probably got some good stories racked up from those days.
I'm sure my mom was 2 houses behind me, and if they would have brought me into the house, she would have been the next trick-or-treater banging on the door. But
right.
Yeah, I was pretty good getting through the childhood trick-or-treating.
I got some wild Halloween stories.
There's different kinds of there's your childhood Halloween, and then there's college Halloween, and then there's adult Halloween.
I have
There's
more
totally different stages.
Costume parties at that point.
Oh yeah.
I got some of those. I want to start with just some random people sharing weird Halloween stories.
Okay.
This is with help from Bored Panda and people just tweeting hashtag weirdest Halloween ever. I'll throw a couple in after the fact. Let's start with one by Jimmy Fallon, actually. He says, in 1994, I went to a party where 3 people dressed up like David Hasselhoff from Baywatch. At one point, someone accidentally fell into the pool, and all the Hasselhoffs jumped in to save him.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, in context, that's one of the best things that could ever happen.
That's a fun thing to see at a party.
Yeah.
Oh, I would laugh so hard.
It's a fun thing to see at a Halloween
You'd almost
party.
have to if you're also dressed as Hasselhoff as lifeguard.
I like this one. Brought the wrong kid home. Didn't notice till the mask came off.
I'm sure that's a common occurrence. You grab any Spider-Man and you're like, "Hey, let's go." And if they come with you, it's you assume it's your kid.
Who are you?
To get him home, and you're like, "Wait,
Yeah.
you're not my kid."
That's hilarious.
I can imagine that though. We were just at the park and we saw a World War Z situation with a bunch of kids on the slide all in costume because it was a pre-Halloween neighborhood thing. And I can imagine there's 20 Iron Mans at a little party or on the street, or you pick up the wrong Pokemon and all right, let's go home. And I would have been the kid that was all right, let's get the hell out of here.
you so would.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
You got toys or candy? What you got your place?
What do y'all got going on
Bored
over
with this
here?
place anyway. Let's get the hell out of here.
You got Nintendo 64?
KFC still open? We're going to get into some pranks, but this was a great prank. It was part of a story. I like this. My husband stuffed his clothes to make a scarecrow, and he sat it on a bench in our yard on the week before Halloween. He traded places with it and scared the shit out of all the trick-or-treaters.
So they thought it was there all week long.
He stuffed it with his clothes,
Yeah.
left it there for a week, and then replaced it. Scared the crap out of everybody.
That's
That's
pretty
good.
good.
That's
I
really
like
good.
that.
That's really good.
When I was a kid, my dad rigged up this thing where he stuffed a bear with my clothes and stuff and put it on the roof, made a little pulley system so that you could sit inside of the house.
Definitely sounds like something your dad would do.
Yeah,
A pulley
I can totally
system
see
is
it.
He
involved.
engineered the shit out of this thing.
That's
And,
awesome. I could see him getting very Clark Griswold into it. And
Yeah.
Stuffed bear is going on the roof.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going in the yard dress.
It's going in the living room.
It's going on the roof.
You could hide behind the window, and when people were walking up the driveway, right before they would get to the door, you pulled the lever, and this thing would fall off of the roof in front of them, and it looked like, a person being hung by a noose.
Oh, that's
It
awesome.
would scare the daylights out of people. And he was doing
That's
it for like an
awesome.
hour and a half while I was out trick-or-treating, but no,
I'm just gonna stay here.
I can get that though.
You go ahead. You go hit the houses by yourself.
Yeah,
I take pleasure in scaring the shit out of people. I'd love to scare the shit out of some kids.
love
and
it.
I love that.
It's Halloween. It's all part of the experience.
This is a good one. We had a lady down the street, Crazy Lynn. She gave us cigs instead of candy. We were like 8.
Oh, I'd be like, way to go, Lynn. That would have been so funny.
What? International tweet here. Halloween was a relatively unknown concept in the 80s in Germany. But as kids, we tried really hard to establish it in our neighborhood. An old lady called the police, and we were harshly interviewed by them. I was 10 years old in a self-made werewolf costume.
Oh, yeah. If that's not like a thing in your neighborhood and people just saw you dressed up as
Knocking
crazy
on their door,
characters,
Trying to make Halloween a thing.
yeah, hey, what kind of candy you got in your house? Like, stick them up.
Kid?
Let me get
I
all
like
your
that
food.
one
You're
for
creeping me
perspective.
out. Get out of here.
You're basically just robbing people at that point. You're just
Give me
showing up
your
with a mask
candy.
on. Like, you have no idea who I am. Give me everything you got in your house, or I'm going to burn the place down or something.
Trick or treat. Happy Halloween. Thank you. Bye-bye.
What?
Holy shit. What just happened? What is Halloween?
This one I liked. I was at a Halloween party, and there were 2 people. One was dressed as Hillary Clinton, another as Donald Trump. By the end of the night, they started making out.
Yeah,
was
it's like
good.
seeing that
Love costume parties.
an angel and a devil hooking up at the party.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
that was
great.
good.
I love it.
That was good. This has happened to many people. Like I'm pretty familiar with the ER, but nothing Halloween based I could think of. But this is a good one. At a Halloween party with my boyfriend, who was suddenly doubled over in pain because he had kidney stones. Got to 20 minutes later and picture a witch, a cat, and a painted blue zombie waiting for their vampire friend in the emergency room.
Oh, no.
I can imagine the Halloween waiting room just being like a hot mess because everybody's just dressed up, but like too drunk or fell off something or hurt themselves. Or just like vampire, huh? Kidney stones.
The ER is just a fun place to kick it. You got some time.
Not a fun place to kick it. Right up there with airports for me, where I just I can't stand the wait, I can't stand the smell, I can't stand the people, I can't stand everything about the experience. I hate it.
It's good
too
people
much.
watching, though.
I love this. I egged my own house while I was drunk. In the morning, it was somehow all cleaned up, and I lived alone.
Sounds like some Ambien was involved.
Yeah, definitely.
They just forgot that they went back out there and spent the next 4 hours scrubbing the front of their house down.
Get a time lapse on that video.
Pranked a friend by TPing his house. 2 security guards approached, told me to stop, show my hands. Uniforms looked fake, so I insulted them and kept going. Moments later, I'm handcuffed with 3 cop cars surrounding me, my friend and his parents laughing.
Oh, no. Pretty good.
That's awful. Someone jumped out and scared me in the Hall of Mirrors at a haunted house. I bolted and ran straight into a mirror, and with my glasses, it cut my face. It bled so much all over my clothes, people thought I was one of the monsters in the haunted house.
That's so sad. That would have happened to me.
That would happen to me,
Like,
for
I don't
sure.
have glasses, but I would have, like, broken my nose
I
by
can
someone
relate with
freaking me
that
out
one.
and just smashing straight into something. Like, that exactly sounds like to a T something that would happen.
Yeah,
Because I would do
agree.
too rash, like, quick decision of, like, where it's like, oh.
Your flight is
Oh,
extreme. Like,
my ninja senses get heightened to no level.
people like to fight. Blair likes to just flight her way right on out of there as fast
true.
as humanly possible.
I'm out.
You don't even know
gone.
she's going to go, and she's already gone.
Disappeared.
This is a good one. While trick-or-treating, one of our otter neighbors told us although he was out of candy, we could have some of his deer legs or buck that he just cleaned and dressed.
Oh,
We thought it was cool. Mom, not so much.
What'd y'all get? Would you get some M&M's?
what do you
Skittles?
guys remember, like, the weirdest
Deer
thing
Got a
you ever
rack
got
of lamb.
trick-or-treating?
What's that?
Do you remember the weirdest thing you ever got trick or treating?
I got some weird stuff, but
I mean, our neighborhood was like your classic,
classic.
suburban, like.
and we knew the neighborhoods to go
neighborhood,
to that had like the
It was
king
all of our
size
friends.
shit, and
Like every other house was our friends.
you,
Family's
you get
house,
the
but, like,
random like piece of fruit.
They
I
did
got a
some homemade,
floss.
like trying to do a homemade.
Floss,
something.
that's a good one.
I got floss. We got some like little mini toothbrushes, travel
was-
size
They
toothbrush.
must have been a dentist.
Definitely a dental hygienist or a dentist
sure.
living in that
Definitely.
house. I got a
Make sure to
can.
brush your teeth.
I got a can of baked beans one time.
Really?
I went
sounds
real
pretty
late.
Texas,
I was there
actually.
way too late. Like,
we're out of candy, but
yeah. All I got,
baked beans.
I got super beans.
old SpaghettiOs or new beans. You call them.
I'll take the beans.
Whatever you got that's new.
That's actually perfect leading into this. My friends and I were going as the Black Eyed Peas, and I didn't know who they were, so I dressed up as a pea with a black eye.
We're all good.
It's a very literal costume.
Yeah, equally literal. One time I cracked open a glow stick and drank it. Not because someone dared me to, but because I wanted to see if my stomach would glow through it. Like if he could see glow through his stomach.
That's
Is
just.
this pre-Tide Pods?
It must be.
Sounds like an early 2000s
You
thing
know
to
that's
do.
a terrible decision.
Tide pad.
Tide Pad.
I hate it. Don't even.
Shout out to Gronk.
Type.
Tide Pad.
Who didn't make fun of that commercial?
He's such a man
He's
child.
he's fun to make fun of.
He's great.
But he would also be fun to hang out with and
Yeah.
party with for a night
For
too.
sure.
I get it. I get it.
Definitely make fun of it. Though.
It's just the Patriots thing. I think if he was on almost any other team, it'd be like Gronk, Stogies. Why not?
Yeah, if he was on the Chiefs, he'd be like, America's sweetheart.
Right?
But now he's just kind of America's elbow.
I got some crazy stories from the Ween.
Do you? I bet you do, Blake. I bet you do.
You know a couple. Like you've heard a couple of these. Like I definitely remember telling you the one where it was like two couples. I was like 19. My girlfriend and I and another couple. Like we were hanging out with the fun guy, and we went to a haunted house, and I had a stomach full of pizza toppings, and I just thought this thing was going on forever. It was probably like 20, 30 minutes where I just was like, oh my God, this is just.
Oh, you know that's going to be
I'm
a wild ride.
I'm having
though.
a living nightmare, and
Let
she's
me
just.
off of this
I'm just
5-hour
kind of
ride.
leaning all over her, and she's just kind of like, ugh. And so I'm having a good time and a bad time all at the same time.
It's just
And
sensory
Oh
overload.
my God! And we finally like get outside to like this thing, and there's this girl waiting for us, and I'm like, God, thank God that's over. And then she gives us her 3D glasses for the second half of it.
Oh, no. The fun has only just begun.
That's when it really kicked in.
I
I mean,
really-
and there was like this like spinning tunnel you had to walk through at the end while someone's chasing you with a chainsaw.
like, no.
I mean, she literally had to carry me out of this thing towards the end. Like she had to, I've never had anyone carry me at all, much less my girlfriend, like as a teenager. And she, God, so that was a story. I remember that. Memorable.
That'll certainly be an experience.
Memorable.
Very.
I got caught hooking up at a Halloween party, at a costume party once.
Way to go, B.
Snuck away to the old laundry room for a little giggity. And like we knew the one door that we went in, locked it behind us. We weren't going to be stupid about it. And it was memorable because she was like a fairy or like an angel or something, and there was a bunch of glitter, and it was flapping around a lot. And I was I was dressed as a giant banana, and
Nice.
it was
Classy.
classy move. And I couldn't really do anything through it. It didn't have like a flap or anything, so like, I had to like take it down. I had it all the way past my knees.
Oh, I can't.
And
Take
we-
it all the way
I
off.
can't
Yeah.
even right now.
And there was another door that led to the outside, which is where the majority of the party was, and we didn't see that was open or unlocked, or that there was even a door there until it swung open, and a good like third of the party was. That sucked.
Oh,
it was funny
Blake,
at the same
no.
time. Wasn't the first time I was caught.
No,
Yeah.
you've had.
I had like a thing for like doing it in public places,
You just try to get caught. That's what it sounds like.
fairs and movie theaters and airplanes, and that's a story for another day.
It's a whole other bit
Damn it,
altogether.
It's a story for another day. Yeah, those are good Ween stories.
Yeah.
One thing I am completely a sucker for is Halloween pranks.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
pretty
man.
synonymous with Halloween. You got to do some
No.
pranks.
Could we talk about some like sweet, epic Halloween pranks?
Sure. Love to.
Here's some like new ones of the day. Like there's some classic ones, and there's like some
Beyond TPing and egging and
Yeah.
ding dong ditch and that kind of stuff. That's kid stuff.
Let's talk about like that 2020 ween. The first thing I want to talk about is a way to like, okay, you attach a ghost or witch or a dementor. You could get them at almost any like, Halloween shop, something that you would hang up, like a lightweight skeleton.
Okay.
And you attach it to a drone. And
Okay.
the best way to
Oh,
do it is to
God.
put tape over the lights and to do it over at night. And for like extra asshole points, if your drone has speakers, you could do some like spooky noises and whatnot. But you fly that overhead, and like I have some pictures of it here. This is just like it's nuts. Even to see it at daytime, it's scary as shit. At
It
nighttime,
sounds terrifying.
at nighttime,
Just like floating
awesome.
around. That'd be like super
Floating
creepy.
ghosts.
Yes. Now this one is especially eerie and
I never
especially
think about
awesome.
ghosts overhead. Everybody
You never
kind
think
of
about
always
that.
thinks about ghosts at eye level, but what if we're just not looking at them because they're like above our heads?
Now this is one, it's hard to explain and hard to describe without seeing it, but it's really, really cool in this picture and it's detailed, especially at night. You need to use it like, you could do it over yourself, but a mannequin would help. If you can wrap yourself, and not like with the arms or through the legs, but more of like a dress type, like a ghost situation, but from head to toe in a transparent tape, and then stick
Okay.
a light over, like it'll stand by itself if you could like shimmy out of it. And you can see the pictures of it. There's a lot of them done. Like if you Google it online, like translucent
like a
ghosts out of
tape
packing tape.
ghost
Yes.
dress?
Yes. And you stick it over a light, and it's crazy looking. Like it's like wow. It's a lot more. It's weird. Interesting. So that's kind of like new and creative.
What are those things we tried to light off at our wedding and they wouldn't let us because they were
Oh, the
illegal? in
lanterns.
Chinese lanterns.
Chinese lanterns.
Chinese
That's
lanterns.
kind of what I'm thinking. Is it that kind of a deal, like a Chinese
Or you just
lantern
wrap
kind of a?
your whole body with like a clear tape, but it kind of like
Kind of, but then like you shimmy it out and you could set it on the ground
Where it's
over
like
a
a
light,
mold.
or you can hang
A mold of
exactly,
a dress.
exactly,
Ghost dress.
Gotcha.
exactly. So that takes like a lot of
Interesting.
creativity.
I love the creativity
A
for
classic,
Halloween.
a classic. Treat your friends to some chocolate-covered Brussels sprouts or some other disgusting fruit. Extra asshole points. Don't even cook them. Just make them raw.
Oh,
But
Oh no!
just like dip, like make some delicious chocolate and dip them in like some nasty veggies and just kind of like put them out. That's like a great way to prank some kids. I would love to put that out.
you just
Throw
see a
it-
bunch of chocolate
throw
balls
it in
and you
your-
think that it's like
you really
something
wanna
to
fake
love.
'em out.
wrap them up, throw it in your basket. You're gonna love them.
get them flow wrapped. Get some plastic around that
They're
thing
healthy.
so make people think that they're real, and then just like bite right into a veggie covered chocolate ball,
Delicious.
veggie filled chocolate ball.
This one, I'm really like. I thought this was really cool. And there's videos on how to do this, but you can take off your shower head in almost all cases, and if you pack it with like a cherry or strawberry Kool-Aid powder,
Oh,
and then put it
drips
back
out
up,
red.
when you turn it on, the shower water blasts out red water. So that could be.
That's a very creepy prank.
That's a very creepy and awesome prank.
Where am I bleeding from?
Like
is
that-
a very terrifying
Or,
thought.
and just seeing it coming out of the faucet is like,
Yeah.
oh, like it probably wouldn't last for very long, but even if it just was
Ooh,
a few
that's
seconds, that
creepy.
would be
I
like,
like that.
oh, very
Yeah, I
like,
was thinking very ill.
very
like that.
awesome.
Yes.
Equally creepy, and this takes a little work, and I'll give you like a little bit of instruction on how to do it.
okay.
But I love this prank. Put your own severed head in a jar to be discovered. This requires like a big
Table.
mason jar. No, and you just need to take a picture, and you need to do it in like panoramic mode. It needs to be
Okay.
in super wide.
You, like,
And
line the jar?
The key is to have your face like a little smashed. Like you have to have your eyes closed, and you have to have like your nose maybe a little bit smashed. That helps.
Okay.
And then have a wide picture taken. It's best if you go and get it like printed and laminated, and then you put it in a giant jar where it wraps around, and then add like some water with like a little green tint, like a little green food coloring.
Ooh, uh-huh.
Put it in the fridge, and that looks like your own severed head in a jar, and it's like crazy looking. You can make it look really
Okay.
real. For extra asshole points, kind of ghost mode everybody for a day or two. If you have to, even like don't show up for work for a day, and like let people kind of look for you and then discover the head, that's my
a
kind
lot
of
of
prank.
effort.
That's my kind of prank.
Yeah, that's some legwork to go along with that.
All
But
right.
if you can pull it off,
Let's go low legwork. A classic style prank is to hang something, for somebody to come around a corner and see a skeleton or
Sure.
something with a mask or whatever,
Sure,
something.
your classic.
Something.
Boo, oh.
Something that is very easy to do with just black craft paper is to you make like a creepy, thin looking like silhouette out of black craft paper and do it in a dark hallway where there's still a tiny bit of light. That is so much scarier and so much creepier than any type of mask, any type of skeleton, anything. If you hang that the right way and the lighting is right,
implied horror,
I
as
stand
I've
by it.
always
Yeah,
said,
I like
I
that.
stand
is
by it.
scarier than boo-ha horror.
I agree.
This is one that's cool, and this has to be done right. This is one that's for all ages. I just thought this was cool. And there's ones where if you mess it up, it looks really bad and really cheesy, and it's all about placement and execution. But you can cut toilet paper rolls and to make really cool shapes of eyes, and then put glow sticks in the toilet paper roll, and then hide them in trees or like under plants. Like you could hide them in different places.
Glowing
Cheap,
eyeballs in any
creative.
place
If it's
is
done,
creepy.
if it's done right and not
Yeah.
overdone, the holes can't be too big. But like if the placement is right and the holes look right, it's all about the right looking holes.
That's cool. You gotta have the right. You gotta have your holes looking right.
No one wants a weird looking hole.
No. It's a phobia for some people. Did you know that? Like,
But that's
constant
that's a
holes.
cool way to add a little oomph to your yard.
fun.
With,
Sure.
like on the cheap.
eyes and holes.
Eyes and holes. This is my favorite one. I plan on doing this. I'm thinking to mom, but this needs to be done. It's about faking a cockroach infestation.
Oh,
And
I don't like that at all.
you can order very real looking 60 fake cockroaches from Amazon for $8.99 right now. You get a bag of these things and they look very real.
Oh,
and so
no. Mom's gonna, like,
you
hurt
find the
herself.
patterns. You find like a drain or somewhere where like they're leading and you have them crawling out and like spreading. It's all about the right pattern. Like look up pictures and the key to it, the extra asshole points. And this is like, why even do it if you leave out this part? You have to go any pet shop where they would have like snakes or reptiles, anything like that. They're going to have some cockroaches. That's going to be food for something that they have there. You're going to want to buy like a handful of real cockroaches, maybe just 3 or 4, something moving, so that when you
no.
bring whoever's in there, you have all the fake ones either put up
And
on the
just
wall or spread out
enough
over the floor,
moving to where
and then
you
enough
believe it.
moving to really freak out
I would
the person you're shocking.
hate that so much.
I would highly recommend freezing those cockroaches first so they're nice and slow, and then you can just go ahead and catch them afterwards and get rid of them because you don't want to start your own infestation for real.
Blair Bear. If T-Town USA over there just like grabbed a
No.
couple roachies and
Oh no.
threw 60 fake ones like coming out of your shower.
Infested.
Down here in
would
the
you forgive 'em?
Southwest, we see a cockroach or two in the summertime. Around
I only
here.
see 1 or 2 literally, and they'll
No.
mostly be outside. But when I do see them, they're those African, like they're 3 or 4 inch
huge.
long.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
it only
they're-
takes one, and I'm like, we're infested. We
No.
got to get out and pack in.
When we first moved
we're
into this
leaving.
house, one night about 1:00 in the morning, I'm sleeping in bed, and I hear this, and it was enough to wake me
Nope.
up, and I was like,
Nope.
"What is that?"
No,
And I wake up, and there is a roach on the bed, and I freaked out, and I hit it, and when I did, it landed in Blair's hair, and she was totally asleep, and I was like, "Oh no!" And it was like stuck in your hair, and I
Tyler
had
James.
to
oh wow.
remove it from your hair while you were sleeping,
oh my
and you
God, I
never
have
knew it.
chills.
All right, I'm calling it right now. Future
Down
segment: most disgusting
my
bug
spine.
stories, like crazy bug stories.
Oh my God.
We have
I
some crazy
never
bug
even,
stories in the family. You were never meant to know that.
Knew about this?
I couldn't tell you. You'd just shave your head the next day if I told you that you once upon a time.
I'm glad you
How did
decided to tell her about this right
on
now.
air. I
Just
mean,
right now.
this is the
So
best
the
place
next
to
morning, I was like, "Oh, good
You ju-
morning," and you're just like, "Oh my
Hey,
God."
Good morning.
You did have a good Halloween story in you.
How am I gonna sleep tonight?
with a net over your head.
Oh my God. What else are you hiding? I'm just kidding.
Like almost positive this is illegal. I don't know. Is this illegal, Blair? Changing the message on an electronic road sign? I have explicit step-by-step directions on how to
Oh, please don't.
get into the box, use the device, what the default password is, even if it's been changed, how to change it back to the default password, and then put in whatever text you want. You know, something friendly, like, you know, I don't know.
Something friendly, like.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's
Something
illegal.
friendly, like.
Yeah, we should definitely not talk about how to do any of that. If you have step-by-step instructions right there, I would say let's play the...
Like, just to, like, how to hack into the device if it needs to. Otherwise, it's very easy to use. I shouldn't go over that.
Probably
if
not.
it happens, and where'd you learn how to do this, son? Well,
Let's just say if you...
Found it on the internet.
Yeah, if you want to know, you
is
can
this
find it.
podcast? It's like something crispy, or I don't know. Ill-advised, possibly illegal. Now I want to move on to ween pranks, completely gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Got a couple
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Talk about a house that breaks the fourth wall of Halloween decorations. One North Carolina family decided to decorate for Halloween by dangling a dummy from the edge of their second-story roof as if he had been cleaning the gutters and suddenly slipped. Like it looks so real, like someone is actually hanging from the gutters, and like they have him like in real clothes, real shoes, real like everything. And someone spotted the scene and called the fire department. Seeing how Halloween is in no way represented, it just looks like a human being about to plunge down.
Can you at least put a pumpkin out or something?
So that was a good one where like fire department had to be called. Like,
Oh my god.
No big deal.
To save a dummy.
I had one that kind of like went awry where it wasn't a fire department, but like, you know, I think it was in the last episode where I mentioned I had been to the, you know, we were talking about the scariest places and the orphanage and
places.
like that was future, like breaking into abandoned places. Where it started was with movie theaters. We would find abandoned movie theaters, and we found one that was like freshly abandoned, still had some electricity, even though it was all gutted out. Partied there for an entire fall break, which was a week. That was great. Led into Halloween, and on Halloween we found a much older one in a much worse part of town that had been abandoned for like 10 years, and you just to even get into it, and they're far from no electricity, completely busted out. You had to like crowbar open a front panel of wood just to crawl through the like box office where you bought tickets to get into there.
B&E for sure.
So there was like 14, 15 kids that went, and I was part of the 4 or 5 people that went inside.
Of course.
And because everyone else was just standing outside while we're checking out, obviously
Follow
the cops
me, I've
came.
got the map.
And all 4 or 5 of us had to wait for like a parent to come pick us up, and Dad had to come get me.
Yeah, I remember this. You were an abandoned what? How'd you even?
Yeah.
Put your shoes on.
Blake would
Blair.
get home and be like, "It was so awesome," and tell me like all the crazy details.
Go outside for a year, but it was worth it.
Story for another day. These are meant to be short and sweet. Blair, this will probably make you think of one. A father pranks his kids by pretending to kill their mother.
Oh my God.
Possessed by the devious spirit
bit
of the
more
season, a man impishly doomed by Michael Myers' mask, the killer from Halloween, not Wayne Campbell, pretended to violently strangle his wife to death in front of their 2 young children. The kids, aged 6 and 8, immediately booked to the neighbor's house to call the shit out of the police before their parents had time to reveal that it had all been a joke. The sheriff said he was glad that it turned out to be a prank, which was a tactful way of calling the 2 parents a raging pair of dumb shits. Prank gone wrong.
Prank gone wrong.
Here's another one. This is big. A teacher in Massachusetts high school classroom heard a knock on the door and instructed one of his 15-year-old students to answer it. When the kid opened the door, another teacher was standing on the other side wearing a mask and wielding a chainsaw, because this seemed like a great idea, especially in the current national climate. In his flailing desperation to escape, the student stumbled over a chair and fractured his knee to the tune of $100,000 lawsuit.
Wow.
That's an expensive surgery.
That sucks.
It's an expensive prank.
No kidding.
That's a prank gone wrong.
One of the worst.
Pranks.
I could totally believe this to happen, and I could believe this would happen to me. Guy keeps armed robber costume on while going to get coffee after a party. A man left the
Definitely sounds Blake.
A man left a costume party in the early morning hours and went to a coffee stand, forgetting that he was dressed like a skull-masked burglar complete with a bandana and assault rifle. Unsurprisingly, the coffee stand barista barricaded herself inside and called 911 for the police to come and shoot this armed bandit. Meanwhile, he stood outside, drunk and knocking on the door. Eventually, the cops arrived, but luckily refrained from slaying him long enough to determine that he was just some drunk jackass wandering home from a costume party.
How unfortunate.
That definitely sounds like something that you would do. Like, oh shit, I didn't even realize I was dressed like this.
Yeah. This one sounds more like your dad, Tyler, and
Yeah.
like the bear story. This last one here. Johnny Mullins likes to get into the spirit of Halloween by giving neighbors a good scare. However, rather than spooking up his front yard with tombstones and rubber bats, he stages elaborately gruesome crime scenes in his driveway that really in no way reference the holiday. And there's one here of his latest.
my
It's a
God.
picture of like one looks like it's a person getting their head split open underneath the tire of his car. And then another one laying up to the garage door with a splat looking like he was shot in the back of the head, and it's like splatted all over the garage
Ooh,
door.
intense, graphic, and I love the creativity.
Yeah, performance art, some of my favorites.
The kids are going to be like, oh my God, Daddy.
His neighbors didn't think so. His upset neighbors called the cops,
Yes,
to
I
which
bet they
Mullins
were, like,
responded
freaking out.
by shedding the very last of the fucks that he had to give, and went and added another body to his display.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Good for you. It's like the Banksy of Halloween. I love it.
It's Halloween.
Those are good, right?
That's good.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Good ween stories.
I love Ween. Hate the pranks.
Oh, I wish you would
being
have stopped
the-
right there.
Oh.
Name of your sex tape.
I love the
ween.
Just love Ween.
Wish it was year round. Wee.
Damn it.
Can't get enough of that ween. Starring the Bleasels. With that said, let's take a break.
Enjoying something crunchy? Follow us on social media and tweet us your comments and questions at crunch_cast. We encourage you to participate and thank you for listening.
And we're back. That was a lot of fun. Put us
Some good Ween.
in the spirit. There's some good ween, Blair.
Why did I even say that? I don't even know.
Just setting us up for these.
I just looked at your face after I said, I'm like, God.
Great ween you got there.
I can't even look at Tyler.
Look at that thing. It's fantastic ween.
Well, I want to move on. Talk about something different for a little bit. I think
Switch it up.
There's been a lot of good stuff to watch.
Excellent entertainment on
Yeah,
television.
Yeah, we've had some good stuff. I say we start with El Camino, the
Oh,
Breaking
we'll
Bad
break
movie.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say we break it down just a little bit. That was a pretty good watch.
I was so excited for that.
I was
Which
excited
every
for
other
that.
Breaking Bad fan
Who
was.
wasn't
Gosh.
Excited for that.
Yeah.
That was pretty sick. Like, Blair, what were your first impressions?
Vince Gilligan, I knew
Mm-hmm.
would do an awesome job per usual. Brought back some awesome, notable characters. It was
Loved
good
it.
acting. Loved it.
Lots of good cameos.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Paul obviously did a great job.
He did.
I mean, there was like, you had the flashbacks and the Bryan Cranston moments.
Yeah, there's a lot of the flashbacks, which is true to like how the show was done. There was a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah.
But did you know that all of the new flashbacks in El Camino were new scenes? They did not use any old material. That
Really?
was all
I did
new,
think that was
new
all new.
shots,
That's
all new
cool.
scenes, every one of them.
They did a good job of like
That was
blending
cool.
it in.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of other good comeback. I love his friends. Matt Jones is one of his friends.
Yep.
Charles Baker. Those two that have like had his back the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
They've kind of helped him through the whole thing. His ex-girlfriend made an appearance.
Yep.
Robert Forster.
Kristen Ritter, like you saw her.
Yes,
at the
Kristen
end.
Ritter, who I loved her.
It was one of those things where like they told everyone you can come in, it's only going to be a day of work. They got everyone they wanted to, but they only had to do a few hours of work.
Yeah, I
they
feel like
weren't
everybody
involved in the
popped
story.
in.
No one had to do anything that had to do with the plot.
Jesse Plemons when they
so
were doing like the
everybody
torture
knows.
scene.
Yeah.
So everybody knows it's the story of Jesse Pinkman after Breaking Bad, and follows him in his getaway,
Right.
basically,
Well,
and all
right.
that.
And so some people first have mentioned that it felt kind of more like an extended episode
It did
rather
feel like an
than
extended episode.
like a
I
movie.
agree with that.
And exactly from what Tyler said, it ended Breaking Bad, and then this is
started
Jesse's new, like, I'm running away, I got out,
Yeah.
and this is what happens now. So it just does kind of feel like a long extended episode.
It
I
does.
do kind of agree.
I love that they brought
But-
back the friends, Badger and
Right.
old Joe. That was I love
Yeah.
that. They were like that really brought back some feel from Breaking Bad. They were like two characters that like you were really happy to see
For
show up
sure.
in the movie.
I loved Robert Forster, who was like the shop owner when he comes
Yeah.
in with the bag of money. He's like, I know who you are. Just here, take everything. And then he was so good. There was a lot of really great parts. I don't know, Blake, what was your favorite part about it?
Aaron Paul was my favorite part of it. He's a great actor, and I really like watching him. He was one of I enjoyed his character I think the most on Breaking Bad, and probably a lot of people
I didn't
felt
think I
that
was
way.
going to like him as much as I did. Like, even from the very beginning, like, Bryan Cranston just, like, blew me away in the original Breaking Bad. But then you start realizing that Jesse is, like, Aaron Paul's a really good actor.
Yeah,
and
see-
he did the part so well for Jesse, and I really did like how he did this.
As far as their characters
movie.
go, like, Walter White is Breaking Bad, and he's like his character's developing into like a more of a shady character, and Aaron Paul is like the more likable guy, and he kind of turns into the protagonist, which I think is what Vince is saying with the movie.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Tyler?
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. The show took a while for me to get into. I wasn't the hugest Breaking Bad fan in the beginning.
Okay, I was a little late for the party myself.
It took 3 or 4 seasons for me to even like really get back into it and watch it from the beginning, and then follow the characters and the storyline and all
Right.
that. But felt like the movie really picked up, and we've been missing that show for so long.
Right,
It's
it kind
been
of
Yeah.
it kind
a
of
couple
filled that
years.
Breaking Bad hole in your heart.
You
I
wanted
wish
something
wish
to come
more
back.
like shows would do that, and it's nice. Like I liked it when Entourage did that. Like
Yeah.
just kind of like, hey, we're not down to like do another season and keep going, but we got a movie in us, and they know they'd make a ton of money doing it.
Yeah,
sure.
it kind of feels like the progression of things, and probably Game of Thrones might be next or something like that, where
Right.
there was just a huge following of something.
There's a lot of spin-offs planned and one
Spin-offs
already in
and things,
production. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was really watchable. It was
Definitely
enjoyable.
watchable.
Lots of good driving. Lots of good.
A little
skating.
slow paced, but there were times that were extremely intense, extremely suspenseful.
Yeah.
Like when he's trying to just get out of situations, particularly like when he's in that house looking for the money, and those other guys show up. Like that
Tearing
was
yeah.
the place up.
very, like so well done. That whole sequence was shot incredibly well. The
sure.
acting was incredibly good. That was
Cinematography was great. So
yeah,
you get
that was just a
real
awesome
The
gritty
scene.
music,
feeling
how
of
it's
what's
shot,
going on.
they've always done a good job with that.
Yeah.
I feel Breaking Bad's been like known for that.
Yeah, I mean, and I
People
bet,
liked
and I
it.
bet everybody watched it or has seen it by now. We didn't want to,
Oh, for
we
sure.
didn't want to get after it too fast. But I mean, it's been out for a couple of weeks now. I feel like it's been enough time
Breaking
to talk
Bad
about
fans
it
have
for
seen
sure.
it.
What would you give it? Something Crunchy's score 0 to 100. We'll take the average of the
For
three
the-
of us.
for
What would
just
you give
the
it?
movie
that.
specifically?
Yeah, for just the movie. What would you give it? 82 for me.
I was gonna say about an 85 probably.
Yeah, I'm about in that range. I'd fall kind of right in between, probably like
We'll call it
84
83.
for sure. All right, well, that was definitely a good flick. Let's move to some HBO. Let's talk about some premium stuff.
Yeah, some
yeah.
paid for programming.
Ballers. Not only did the season
Oh, Ballers.
just end, but
Yes.
the series is now over.
I'm sad about
I
that.
know, me
I love that
too.
show.
I loved Ballers. Like in preparing for this segment, it just wasn't until now I realized how much shade was thrown on Ballers out there. A lot of people called
know, I
it a
didn't
guilty
realize it
pleasure. A lot of
either.
people said it was like kind of lowbrow for HBO, and like I didn't get that. I also discovered that I was not a profound thinker in comparing Ballers to Entourage, and it's got the same kind of vibe and the feel.
Yeah,
I think
many
read,
people kind
Yeah, I
of felt
think-
it was like the sports version.
Yeah, I read 4
of
things.
Entourage.
3 of them started just like that.
Yeah,
Just like Entourage. Could have had the same producers.
So I'm not the only.
Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
big fan. It comes, it always starts, preseason before football starts, so you get it a month or two before
When
actual
you're really
preseason
craving
football starts. Yeah,
and need it.
it comes out at the absolute right time of year.
Right.
I
And
agree. It gets you so excited. You need to watch something.
it
football, and
fills
you're
that
like, "Ballers,
no
football season's
summer
coming."
void of football, and you're right into some football action, and then before you know it, it's preseason and regular season.
And there's a lot of ties to like things that do happen in real life and things that do happen in football. Like, the big topic in the last season was not really like getting the healthcare for all former players. That's not
Right.
that's not a real life argument, at least not yet. Maybe they're trying to speak it into existence. But like when they
I
were
think they
talking
are,
about
yeah.
the team moving
Should
to Las Vegas and all that, like that was really happening. I really liked that. I liked a lot of the real life comparisons. One that I didn't very much care for, maybe as a diehard Cowboy fan, was kind of the portrayal of Jerry Jones. Maybe in part because they had him played by Scooter McGavin.
Yeah, it made me laugh so hard that he played him. I actually did
Scooter.
like that, but yeah, I wonder what Jerry thinks of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he ended up,
And he actually played that part pretty
Well, there was
well,
just
but it
such
was
a
more
good
written for
cast.
him. Kind of like, I don't know, they made him, clearly the Jerry Jones type, and that
he was
the
very
boss man,
unlikable
and-
until the very end, and then you need spoiler alerts, but
He played
Yeah, that
the
was
part
kinda-
well, though.
He did
does
play the
right
part pretty
thing.
well.
He does the right
I thought
thing.
so. Playing the part well, I thought Dwayne Johnson
Amazing.
did do a
Amazing.
great job playing Spencer
Yeah.
Strasmore.
He was the first and only choice for the lead, and he lost over 20 pounds for that role.
He lost weight for that. I feel like he was like
Lost.
huge
No.
the whole time in that.
No, and that was also his first starring role in television series outside of the WWE. Everything else
Oh,
has
so
been
I
on
thought it was
movies.
great.
Wow.
And I just love the fact that it was something outside of the action. He showed that like he can act, he could be a comedic actor. Like he was great.
He's in everything, but just fantastic actor now. He's really turned into somebody that is crossing bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used some real life crossover with him too. Like he really was a college football player himself and really did play for
Played for
University of Miami,
Miami,
just like
yeah.
he did in the show. So they used some real life stuff for him. Also, this is the second time that Rob Corddry and Dwayne Johnson have starred together.
He was the
time
next
in
person I was about
he
to
was in Pain and
mention.
Gain.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Love
not
Rob
only,
Corddry.
I think, my favorite part of Ballers. He's like one of the most underappreciated comedic
He's
actors.
so good.
He's very appreciated, but he doesn't get enough stuff,
No.
and
he
he's
doesn't.
not
I
enough
love
appreciated.
him.
I don't know. I have such a soft spot for like an asshole with a heart of gold. Like,
Yeah,
that's just
exactly.
Yeah.
it's very relatable for me. And the bigger,
You know why?
yeah, the bigger the asshole. I don't know. I just
I
I
loved
like
him. He's
it.
the standout.
Like
in
Ari
most
Gold
thing
in
that he's
Entourage,
done.
like, and he does.
Yes.
Like you're right, he does. So yeah, I want to talk about a couple of the other things that kind of pissed me off about Ballers. Aside the Jerry Jones things, like the only other things that I didn't like was just a couple holes in the plot. I did not very much care for how they built up the huge battle he was going to have with the NCAA. They ended at one season where he's like, I'm going to bring down the NCAA. And then like next time it starts, it's like, and we've completely forgot about that. We're moving on.
Right, now he's an owner of an NBA or
It seemed
NFL
like
team.
we took a break from filming. NCAA reached out. They're pissed as hell, and we're not going to talk about that anymore.
We're gonna
Yeah.
move forward with this.
In real life, we lost the fight to the NCAA. We're never going to mention them again. Let's move on. Season 5. Let's get excited.
We're on to the NFL.
Yeah. The only other thing I didn't like either is how they just did not explain at all how he went from like complete broke, and they said that he just had no money, into being an NFL owner with the primary stake and GM status.
Well,
Like,
he
just jumped.
kind of did that like on the back of the brothers.
Well, he
Yeah, the
did. Like they
brothers
backed him, but
were his
like
bank,
it was
pretty
it was
much.
implied that he had like stake in everything he had in it too. Like they,
No, like that was the cool thing
when
about
they first
the story.
reached out to him, like remember when they like the woman like came in from the league and implying that they wanted somebody.
Yeah, just to
At the
use
Because I think
it
he was
for
Verse.
fun.
capable of providing it, and they knew that. But like,
Yeah, but like the whole arc of his storyline is like he started from nothing. He kind of used Rob Corddry's character to help him along as the business licensee.
Yep.
He wasn't certified to do anything. He didn't have any licenses to be a broker for the players. So he had to use everybody else's license and kind of his connections and his smarts to get him to where he was. And with the help of the brothers and the NFL, he ended
Yeah.
up becoming an owner and an advocate for the players. And
Yeah,
it was a
I guess that's
fantastic
right.
storyline for him. And all
Did
that.
it also seem like a little weird that like Patrick and Mahomes were probably the two most used words in the entire season, yet like you don't see him one time. They couldn't get him
Oh,
for
no,
like
he
a little
doesn't make an
2-second
appearance, does
cameo.
he?
Yeah.
Just kind of weird. I love
You
that
see some
Justin
Odell.
Long was in at the end. I was totally into the Justin Long. Like
He was
so
great
too.
at the end, yeah, the
He's
last
always
season.
great.
Yeah.
I like Justin Long
Great character actor. He needs to do more.
for sure. I'd also like to point out it's a little strange that if you have Todd Gurley as your running back, you're never going to land a trade with Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I didn't
Todd
understand
Gurley just
that
notorious.
either.
Like they use real contracts and real people. They're going to say Patrick Mahomes is going to be the highest paid quarterback or the highest paid player ever in the NFL, which will happen. Like that's not an easy, that's not like a
Future
hard
face of the
prediction. Like
league.
everyone knows that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So they weren't seeing through any crystal balls to, throw that out there. But
Alvin Kamara going to the
yeah,
Rams.
that's never going to happen.
No.
I really liked. And again, surprised. I don't know how I went this entire time not realizing that Ricky,
I was
John
waiting
David
for you to bring him
Washington,
up.
is Denzel's son.
I was just about to say. I told Blair this once, and then she forgot, and I reminded her once, and she was, "What? No,
Yeah.
no."
You never told
I'm
me
like,
that
Blair,
before.
like one, he looks a lot like him, but two,
No,
if you
I
just
don't.
close your eyes and listen to him,
sounds
No,
he
it made
sounds
so much sense.
exactly
It made,
like
I
him.
loved Ricky. I'm like, I feel like I just know him already. Like
What's
something
a-
seems familiar
Switch
about
Ricky
you.
out in training day. He's like, I don't know. You like to get wet.
Yeah, Blair, come on, you ready to push in?
Pushed in.
Come on, Blair. Give him
Oh,
a tug.
y'all are just too much. A lot of people loved season 1 through 3. I feel like I saw a lot of people like loving that, but after season 4, they were saying it got a little bit political.
I don't know. I was
Which I
always
didn't
into
really
it.
see
I
it that
always thought
way,
it was
but
easy to watch.
I got it
loved
in
it. I
some
loved
way.
the football tie. I loved the like
Yeah.
entourage feel. I love. It was just.
There
Okay.
was,
I thought it
there was a
good.
little bit of manufactured drama in there, but I remember
Yeah,
the first
for
couple
sure.
seasons, people were super stoked about it, and then when it came out, they were really mad that it didn't have any kind of correlations with what actually goes down in
For
the
sure.
NFL. So,
Yeah.
like, they make you feel like this is how it actually is, but in reality, it's nothing like this. So I can see that being, an off-put, but I was still into it.
I'm
I
gonna
loved it.
miss
Still a
it.
different
I'm
take.
I'm sad it's over. I didn't even know
was
it
so
was the
easy
end
to
of the series
watch.
after I finished the season.
Okay, so
I'm
on
sad
that
it's
note,
over.
what are like potential spin-offs? Like, do we see something like
The only
with Ricky
thing I could
in
think
the
of
show,
would be with
or,
the gaming side and doing it with like
Or Ricky
Lance and
and his-
Reggie.
With the esports.
Show.
Could
or
be and Ricky with the
something.
show. It could be. I see it more with the gaming side.
I could
That's
see
the only one I
Vernon
could
and
see.
Reggie, and Reggie grew on me like so much throughout. I was like,
He was great.
If The Rock's not involved, this is going straight to USA.
You think so?
Yeah, because without
Even
Dwayne
with
Johnson
Rob?
involved, the HBO wouldn't pick that up again. Yeah.
Let's stay on HBO and move on. We just finished the first season of Righteous Gemstones.
oh my god,
Danny
Righteous
McBride,
Gemstones.
Adam Devine,
This is
John
John
Goodman.
Goodman.
just a new flavor of
It's different.
TV.
I really liked it. You
Edie
recommended it to me.
Patterson.
Yep.
It was
Like, you have to have a sense of humor
yeah,
to watch it too.
yeah.
Going in.
And I was expecting to like Adam Devine the best, and okay, I always like his stuff. Workaholics was probably one of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah.
I didn't very much care for his last stand-up special, but I had high,
Little
high
forced.
expectation. And he's there's nothing not to like about him in here, but he's not even like my favorite character or the most fun, or the funniest person. Danny McBride, I think he wrote it, and his character's so good. He's like,
It's a very Danny
Ve-
McBride
very Danny
character,
Mc-
but
yes.
one of like the best Danny McBride characters.
I couldn't say it any better than that. That's so well put, and that's exactly how
Yeah,
I
he
feel.
plays it perfect.
He plays it perfect.
For those who don't know, Righteous Gemstones is about a family of televangelists.
That's a good call. Maybe like a little
brief
synopsis.
little throwback to what it's
Mega
about.
church, kind of seeing the behind the scenes.
Right.
And
They're
rich
a family
as
of
shit.
Super rich televangelists. They take over
Live
different
on their
cities
own,
that have small congregations in their churches and pretty much overdevelop it, come in a business standpoint and take over. and control everything.
Church conglomerate, super
It's
interesting.
actually kind of
premise,
more of like
very
a dark
televangelist.
comedy. They're kind of like
It is
can
kind
get
of a
little
dark
bit
comedy.
dark.
Yeah,
It's
It is,
exposing.
but it's not what you expect too. Because I remember watching, I was like, man, I don't know what I was expecting. But I was like, this is actually so different.
I was waiting to bring her up. I think the funniest character in the show is who plays their sister. Like Danny McBride is the
Edie
oldest brother.
Patterson.
Adam Devine is the youngest brother. This is all of John Goodman's kids, and then Edie. She ends up having the best one-liners. You just can't believe some of the shit that comes out of her mouth.
She's
the way
kinda
she treats her like doormat boyfriend or
She's
fiance.
kind of the outsider because like
she is, but
it's a
she's
male-dominated
She's good, though.
world.
Talk about like just she was my favorite comedic performance, hands down. Overall, really really funny.
Yeah,
Like it was something different. I thought it was good.
Definitely
on
HBO territory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That wouldn't fly on Netflix.
No. The comedy was great. The acting
Something
was
different.
great. It was something different, like strong premise.
And it needs
Yeah.
to be said because there are many, many people out there in that world that are doing very similar things.
yeah, that's true.
So
All right. Well, that's some good stuff. Let's go back to some Halloween. Blair, I know that you have
Yeah,
so,
it's
like
almost Halloween.
yeah, we got Ween in a couple days. Let's talk about some costumes and like finish
Well,
off on some
So
Ween.
this year,
you got some predictions of
Yeah.
what?
I wanna know what
that's-
you think.
I have a few predictions.
Let's hear it.
I mean, just again based off of last year and like just things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Last year there was, I feel like, a lot of like the introduction of inflatable costumes. Like there was like the big dinosaur inflatable.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We saw a
I think
lot
there's
of that.
going to be like
T-Rex.
a lot. Yeah.
Saw
There was,
a
and
lot
that
of
was like
that.
the main one that you saw last year. I feel like there's going to be a lot more of that.
Are you gonna go as a huge inflatable dinosaur this year? Is that what you're like leading up to?
Yeah, I'm going to go with last year's most exciting.
Bleaselsaurus?
So basic of you.
But on that note, I think that this year there's going to be more like LED light up
Love it.
costumes.
Battery
I'm into
powered.
LED.
Yeah, like I think I saw one that was like a marshmallow, how that was like all LED. I think there's going to be a lot of different light up LED stuff.
Stole my costume.
Perfect. Well, this
Made
is
it
something we
myself.
would definitely do, but I feel like there's always decades. Like that's always a popular
We did
Right.
80s
costume.
last year.
Year we were an 80s family. So, but I think that this is the decade. I think it's the 90s, all about the 90s this year. There's
that.
going to be like a lot of Clueless. Like I think there's going to be like a lot of throwback to 90s stuff.
Some neon stuff.
Yeah. And also 90s, but also just all over animated characters.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of like different costumes that are like related to animated characters.
Like, give us an example.
Like Rick and Morty. There's going to, I think,
Nice.
be like some
But
of those.
but with like added lighting elements to the costume or with props.
well,
just
they
like-
have like,
Pickle Rick and Rick and Morty and that kind of stuff. Like
yeah,
characters,
it's
more
just,
character
I
direct.
mean, even
Character
like there's
direct
like
team.
dressing up for like as like Hey Arnold characters, like
Oh, okay.
Angelica or like Rugrats or like just different animated characters.
You know what I hope to see this year? I hope to see the hormone monster from Big
Oh,
Mouth.
but that would
I
have
would
been the
be
best
really
animated
surprised
character.
if
I would've
anybody
been
comes
so-
up with that.
If someone comes up with that, I would be
I think the
beyond
only way you're going to
impressed.
see that is
They
if
get-
you come up with it.
They get all
2
the
days.
candy. If they
Beyond
show up,
impressed.
if the hormone monster comes over to the house, they get all the candy.
You win. Take
Whole
it.
bag. There you go.
I need a picture with you.
You're not going to give out chocolate covered Brussels sprouts?
No.
You know what I just wish I would find is an actual funny couple costume. Like I have
rare.
like
Yeah.
looked and looked. Like I want to laugh
Most
out
of them-
loud at an actual
Most of them
like,
are, yeah.
I would love to do an amazing couples costume, but I still have
Peanut
not
butter
even
and
like
jelly.
Yeah.
come up with like the best one where it's like I'm not gonna do if it's not gonna be like
King and Queen of Hearts. Super original.
Yeah.
you know. I mean, if you can show me, like, please send me your pictures, make me laugh. I want to see some of the funniest couples costumes. If you've done it, please
Yeah,
show me.
I would love to
'Cause
see
I'm like,
those.
that's
Or
like
the ones
I
from
love
this year,
it.
ones
I love
from the past.
creativity. I love it all. Like, but show me, like, please make me laugh. And there was one, like, I was trying to look for like other actual funny costumes. What else is like gonna make me just like cry laughing when I see it? And the only one I saw was an adult ass full face mask. Very realistic looking adult ass.
I saw
Like,
it.
so
Full
you,
face
you
mask.
breathe out of the butthole, I assume? Like,
I
that's,
think
that's
that's
where
about
the
that.
butthole is like right in between your
You
eyes.
see out of the
see out of the
butthole.
And there's cheeks around like the whole rest of your head.
That it was.
And that was the
I
only
appreciate
thing
the
that made
correction.
me
You see
actually
out of the
like
butthole.
laugh for a second. So I'm like, thank you,
I
but I need
love that.
more. So like, I'm
I
really
love
hoping that. And then the classics. There's gonna be, I mean, It and Clowns. I think there's gonna be like heavy this
Good
year, which I
call.
hate, but it's gonna be
Good
there.
call.
Stranger Things.
You are not down the clown.
Lots
I'm
of
not down.
lots
Yeah.
of Dustin.
11.
You
Dust,
think
yeah.
11 or like so more kids and less Demogorgon? Demogorgon? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's
Demogorgon.
going to be characters. It's going to be not as much as
You think
the
there's going to
scary
be
stuff.
someone that's going to build a full Demogorgon? But you are like setting the bar high.
12-armed Demogorgon.
What does that even look like? Coming from the depths
It's
of the
gonna take
clouds?
I
six
really wanted to see
kids
a
to put
hormone
together.
monster.
Yeah, you just put a
That's
little.
no
A Demogorgon?
easier to make than a Demogorgon or harder to make than a. You know what I'm trying to say.
It could be difficult.
Get it?
I don't know. I'm just hoping to laugh. I love the creativity and
I enjoy-
some of the
What are you gonna
Halloween
be
I
this
enjoy
year?
some effort.
Blair, what are you going to
I
be?
don't even know yet. We have
We got like 5 days left. What are you going to be? Blake, what are you going to be?
we got to come up with something good.
Which
I
costume?
don't know. I'm still thinking about
You don't have a costume
all
yet
the
either?
other costumes I'm going to
I got my
enjoy.
costume. Y'all don't have your
There's
costumes?
nothing wrong
What
with
are
seeing good
you?
old fashioned slutty costumes either. Like I always
that's the
enjoy a nice slutty
classics.
cat, slutty nurse. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are always good. What am I going to be? I don't know.
What are you going to be?
Well, our daughter is going to be a kitty cat, so
Right.
I'm going to
Okay.
be a lion trainer.
I can see that. You can pull that off nicely.
I'm going to go like circus style,
you
top
could
hat.
kind of use some of the stuff you did
Coattails.
last year. Because you went like the nerdy
Use the
80s nerd
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
But if you kept that, because that was kind of like plaid overalls, or there was like, I don't know, that would be a little too
Yeah, I
Gangs
had
of
like
New York.
suspenders.
That'd be a little too the
I'm going
butcher.
top hat, tails on a long coat, like.
I'm not interested in the butcher's leavings. Oh,
I think
that's
there's
gonna
going to be a
awesome.
few scary, and I think the scary ones from this year, I love the funny because that's usually the route I love. But if you're going to creep me out, I think these ones might do it. There's going to be like the Momo mask. Do you hear all about that Momo thing?
The Momo mask.
Yeah, it was like this
Was that a show or a movie?
No, it was like a YouTube
Oh, it was.
thing.
Yeah,
that
it was
like
a
this
YouTube video.
Momo fade that it was like awful because it was like telling kids to do bad things
Yeah,
to
they-
themselves, or I don't know what it was, but it was like creepy. But they're turning that into like a Halloween costume, so again, that does creep me out, and
so
it's
you're
a
gonna
very
see-
creepy mask. Slender Man.
Yep.
There's like the Purge, which is like an LED kind of mask, that kind
Yeah.
of thing, like I was
Yeah.
mentioning. So
Ooh, that's gonna be
some of
cool.
those will be like kind of creepy. Annabelle, if you're gonna be like a huge creepy adult baby, I don't know. That sounds terrifying to me. So
Always scary.
One of my go-tos is just like anything I could use around the house, and I always have
Right, I think
cowboy
just slapping
boots and a
something
cowboy
together.
hat. So
Yeah.
I typically grab those, tie some bandanas around, and I've gone as a bandit a couple times using
Yeah,
that.
that's pretty easy.
And then I carried a guitar around a party one time and went
Oh,
as a
easy
country
for
singer.
you.
Like just it was a little lazy, but still they didn't.
That's
they didn't know.
perfect.
They didn't know. It worked out well. It was stuff I already had, so I kind of pulled that out last minute. Let's go to.
Remember the SNL cheerleaders?
oh my gosh,
I was
Spartan
the
Spartan
cheerleaders?
cheerleaders.
I was a Sherry O'Terry character one time,
Oh, I
up.
love you so
You're
much.
the size of Will Ferrell, and you went with Sherry O'Terry.
and I was with like
bigger than
a 5'1" girl at the time, and she was the Will Ferrell character.
I went and dragged like 2 or 3 years in a row working in the nightclubs. Like, all the guys did it one year, and just me and some friends did it one year. And I always went blonde, which is kind of strange. Didn't shave the beard either. Or the goatee at the time.
Left it, huh?
Yeah, loved
You can
it.
always go the slutty route. Just like throw on a little something small and be like, oh,
Right?
kitty cat meow.
I went as that slutty banana one year. This has been another episode of Something
and
Crunchy.
Happy Crunchtober.
Happy
It's been
Crunchtober.
amazing.
It's been
Coming to an end.
fun.
I feel sad about
And
it.
be safe. Have
Happy
a fun ween. And don't ever forget to live your crunchiest life.
And be crunchy to one another.
Please don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, and all that crunchy good shit. Thank you for listening.